When I was 6 or 7, I kept having this recurring nightmare. It would start as a normal dream, and then whoever I was with, normally my parent or friends, would walk away, leaving me alone. A lot of what happened in the nightmares is fuzzy, but I remember this part very vividly. A doppelganger of whoever I was with would walk towards me. I knew it wasn't actually them, because of the big creepy smile they would have on their face. Even writing this many years later, I still feel terror picturing the scene. They would slowly advance toward me, and I wouldn't be able to move. They would reach out toward me, and I would feel like I couldn't breathe. I would always wake up before they got to me, but I knew that if I stayed asleep a little longer, I would see who they really were. When I was too afraid to fall asleep one night, my dad, in his matter-of-fact way, told me to just wait it out and see who they really were. When I had the dream a couple of days later, I didn't try to wake myself up like usual. I just waited to see who they were. I didn't resist, just let them reach towards me. I don't remember this next part, but both of my parents told me the story later when I was older. They both woke up at the same time around 1 in the morning with the urgent feeling they needed to check on me. When they went into my room, I was lying in the middle of the floor, dead asleep, with my mouth open like I was trying to scream. I felt hot when they picked me up, and when they took my temperature, I had a ridiculously high fever. They took me to the ER, and the nurse said if they hadn't brought me in, I might have had lasting damage or even died. They said my fever was so high that if I hadn't gotten the medical treatment when I did, the heat might have begun to kill my cells. Who knows what state I would have been in by morning. They never figured out what caused it, and they wrote it off as some medical anomaly, sending me on my way. I haven't had the dream again since. I wish that was the scariest part of the story, but it's not. I strangely managed to forget all about it until very recently. My great-aunt has dementia, and so my whole family has been helping her clean out her house before she moves in with my aunt and uncle. I was talking to her one day, and she kept repeatedly asking me to grab the photo albums in the hole in the wall behind the horses. I wasn't sure what she was talking about, but she seemed so distressed that I decided to follow her instructions. I went to her bedroom, where there was a big painting of horses hanging on the wall. I checked behind it, and lo and behold, there were a couple of photo albums. I brought them to her, and we started to look through them together. She started pointing at a picture of a teenage girl, calling her Catherine, and then pointing at me. My grandmother is long dead. She died during childbirth. As far as I can tell, she had no connection to any of this. And as far as I knew at the time, my great-aunt had no other siblings. But there they were, posing for a family picture with my great-grandfather and great-grandmother. My name is not Catherine, so I had to remind her who I was. I didn't think much of it, because she often calls people by the wrong name. But then, I looked at the picture. This girl looked exactly like how I did at her age. I imagine she would have looked just like me at any age. I asked what happened to her, and for a minute, it was like my great-aunt was fully back with me. She said she died of a fever, given to her by the smiling, shape-shifting devil who haunted her dreams. I tried to ask more questions, but all she said was that the devil got her. He likes the blonde ones. The girl in the picture, Catherine, and I are the only natural blondes in my whole family. Unfortunately, my aunt had a stroke a couple of days later, which left her unable to speak, so I never got to ask her any more questions. But I still wonder about Catherine sometimes, and what could have happened to me if my parents hadn't woken up that night. I like to think that it was the ghost of Catherine, making sure no one else died from the dreams. But I'll never really know anything more about the dreams, or Catherine, and I guess I'll have to live with that. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this. We will post every day.